Hi everyone, my name is Jeff and welcome to the Hometown Treasures channel. Right now, it's winter outside. There's a lot of snow on the ground and a lot of ice. The metal detecting is kind of on hold because we've got about 6 inches of ice on top of the ground. I'm not going to be digging through that. Gold panning for flour gold, that's kind of out of the picture right now too, unless we really get a quick thaw. So right now, as promised, we're going to do something different. We're going to do some faceting. I'm going to facet some amethyst. This is a piece of tumbled amethyst. And I have one on the stick now that was also a piece of tumbled amethyst. I've got it partially done now, but we're going to take it through and go through the different steps and get to the finished product and turn it into a gemstone and see what we have left over then. Well, this is the amethyst. This project has actually been on the stick and been on hold for a few months because I've been out gold panning and metal detecting, enjoying the summertime. This is more of a winter type project, but I've started it. I faceted the girdle, faceted that, and polished it up a little bit. So I've got an 8-facet girdle. And on the bottom, instead of doing a round brilliant, I'm just doing 16 pavilion facets. Since it almost gives you the brilliance of a round brilliant, but it just gives you a little different design on the girdle. It's kind of something nice to do something different. The beauty of the machines like this is that even though I've been away for a couple months on this, I can just put it right back into the index number I want to start with and start out and go for it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start out and go for it. All right, got the height set up. Don't like to run it too fast. It's a little easier on the plate, a little easier. Get some water going there. All right, we're going to start on 96 and we're going to run around to 16 facets. I'm bringing this down just a little bit, and what I usually do is I will give it the same number of strokes on the plate. That's 20. I'm going to take a look at it. That looks good, actually. So instead of advancing 8 to the 12, I'm going to advance 6 over here. Start there. All right, I've got the mains cut down almost to the girdle, almost where we want it. I put on a finer grit plate, and we're going to cut out the bigger scratches of that 600 grit plate and refine the girdle just a little bit, bring it down to where we want it to be. So that's what we're going to do now. All right, start out here at 96. Just down a little bit here where I've got a little bit of movement on my gauge here, and I'm going to take those scratches out. Gauge stops quivering, that's when I go to the next facet, and then I'll come back and look at them and see how we're doing. place from 22 to 25 strokes. And that's good that it comes out the same on each one. That means I'm pretty even, and we will take a look at it for sure. Like normal. Got Riley here, she's helping out. Now, every job has to have a supervisor. Well, I've got the best supervisor there is. This is Riley. She's the baby of the family, and she's in charge. Don't ever forget it. So, she likes to help out a little bit here and there. Being on my lap while I'm doing the rough work is not a big deal because it's cutting quite roughly. But once you get to the fine stuff, you got to watch out for cat hair. You don't want to contaminate your plates. But for now, she's in charge. We're back. Remember I told you got to find out what works for you? This may look a little funny. This is my 8-inch backing plate. This is a 6-inch copper plate. It elevates it up so the spindle is not sticking through the hole. This is a 4-inch Spectra Ultralap, pressure sensitive, that I glued onto that I'm going to use to polish. I like to use the Spectra Ultralaps for anything quartz related or anything in that family. It does a really, really, really good job. My dad had, that's what he used for polishing a lot of his, was the Ultralap, but it was the Spectra. They do not make this anymore. These are old used ones, but they still work. They're good. That is the best for quartz. I found a bunch of these on the eBay, and I bought them, and I figured out how to use them because they are wonderful. They polish quartz products like you won't believe. So we're going to polish up those 16 pavilion facets. Don't have to go real fast here on this. You don't have a lot of working room, but that's okay. You do what you have to do. Okay, I'm going to start it with about 30 strokes here to see what it's looking like here. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm over a little bit. I gotta come back on my cheater just a little bit here. There we go. Let's try that. Okay. All right, we got it. I think we're spot on that one. Okay, now you can. All right, we finished the faceting, polishing on those 16 pavilion facets. Clean our plate, put it away. I'm gonna wipe down my backing plate here so I can kind of keep it clean. All right, we've got that's a nice part about Facetron. Has a flat side for a cam lock. You can take it in, take it out, and don't have to change your settings. All right, we've got 16 pavilion facets all the way around. The next step we're going to take it, put it in a jig. I'm going to find a matching cone to fit this and glue it up for a transfer. Here we are at the transfer stage. We've got the pavilion cut, I just put 16 facets on it instead of a round brilliant design, just 16 straight facets, main facets. And we've picked out a cone top stick to receive the cone, to receive it like that. And we're going to mix a little epoxy up, put in the cone and put it together so we can dry it for transfer. That's probably way more than I need, but we're going to go with it. I like to use this particular type of epoxy because it's very strong, and yet it does set up within 6 hours, so I can do this in the morning, go to work, come home, and then work on the stone some if I need to or want to. So we're just going to put a little bit in the cone there like that. All right, and slide it together. See, it kind of squirts out a little bit there like that. I'm going to take, I don't want it over the edges of my facets, so I'm going to pull this back just a little bit like this all the way around. That's there, not touching them. Push it up and then pull it back. I'm going to get the back of it too. Don't know if you can see that, but make sure we get that back too. I don't want it over, sticking out past the edge of those facets. All right, that's about it there. We're going to put that aside and we're going to let that dry. All right, we have our stone glued up. It is set. Into maybe slide that out of the transfer jig. Okay, it's glued up here. This is our pavilion side we've just done. Here's our waist side now. So what I'm going to do to transfer this is I'm going to take Kleenex and I'm going to wrap it around this side that I've just glued, and I'm going to wet it down. What that does is that keeps the heat off the stone, off the glue, so that I can just warm this side and then just basically pull it apart. I've covered that stone right up with that Kleenex there, and I'm going to wet it down. That water will keep that heat off that stone. All right. Okay, I think we've got it enough. I'm going to grab hold of there, and I'm just going to pull that off of there like that. And the other glue is separated. And this is ready to mount into the machine and do the crown now. Okay, I'm just going to scrape that stuff off of there and clean up, and we'll go on to the next step. That's the transfer. Well, we've got our stone off the transfer top, and I've noticed that my indexing is off. The quill is off a little bit, so we have to index this so it's a flat, so we get a flat side on our 8 facets to the number I want to start with. So I've loosened up my quill so I can move that back and forth a little bit here. And we're going to turn it to 90 degrees. And slide it back a little bit so we can catch the edge of the plate. Like that. And bring it down here. Now we'll bring it down to make some contact with the plate here. There we go. Now turn it. Loosened up here. We're set at 96. I've got that flattened out. So I've got a flat side of my facet at 96. I'm going to finger tighten that a little bit. Got it that. All right. Now, get it back up in the air. And our main facets on colored quartz will be 43 on the crown. 43. Okay. All right, so we got 43. Tighten that. Good there. We're going to put eight main facets on to start with, and we're going to bring them down so we're almost at the girdle point. Here's my boss sitting here. Yeah, there's my boss. Yep, she's in charge. Okay, we're at 43. I'm going to bring this in. I like to facet on this side of the plate. I know some people facet across the front, but I don't like doing it because this plate is moving one direction. So you're swinging back and forth, you're going against the grain and with the grain of it, and I'd like to keep it all in one direction. It has a better control, I think, over the cutting that you're doing there. All right, let's get the water going. Let's get this down here a little bit. Okay, got that. I'm going to get a little extra water on there. Away we go. Okay, here we are at the polishing again. I'm ready to polish the mains. I've went all the way around it. I've spent extra time on the pre-polish at the 3000 grit to make sure they're all nice and flat and ready to go. That will cut down your time on your polishing. So here we are. Real fast. Don't have to go real fast on this one, but good. Okay. That's it. We have got that done. Well, here's our finished gemstone. And let's see, we'll turn that on. Ounces? I don't think so. There we go, carats. It has a carat weight of 1.92. That, the part I did not show you, was that when I cut the brake facets on the crown, I ended up cutting right into a major flaw in the stone. I had two choices: scrap it or try to make something that looked halfway decent yet. So I recut the mains at a sharper angle and then cut my star facets a little bit bigger, so it's more of a petal cut design. Gave it just a little bit bigger table than I wanted. But it's still a decent looking stone. And guess what? I paid 50 cents for that piece at our gem show. So you can't quite beat that, can you?